What is up, Maniacs, and welcome to the 7th episode of our podcast. Once again, I am back with my partner in crime, my best friend. And to those that don't know, it's me, your notorious one from Pasig City, JCT.
And I'm FSB Works, but you can always call me Fred.
And once again, just like in our past episodes together, we are here to drive you nuts and bolts with our Bumper to Bumper podcast.
So, Chris, today we won't be doing, our regular car review, but, just like what we did last week. But then we're gonna feature some of the quirky looking cars on the internet.
Okay, what do you mean by quirky? Do you mean quirky in a good way, or do you mean it in a bad way?
Well, I don't know how you view it though, but I must say this weird. And it is not protein loaded, I must say, if you know what I mean.
So we're talking about something out of a really bad cheat day.
Yes.
Man, this is gonna be really bad for my eyes, I think,
And it's gonna be bad for our muscle building, right?
Yeah, except to think I've had lots of stress with school lately, which is why I've been absent these past days.
Yeah, I get stress.
But let's try to digest and let's get over with it.
Alright.
Let's get on and let's see what he's got.
Alright then, are you ready for this?
Yes, I am, but I do admit I'm quite scared because you did say that it's quirky in a bad way.
I warn you, Chris, again, this is not protein loaded.
Alright, can you show me the first bit, please?
Alright. Brace yourselves, man. Wait. There you go.
What in the world? I gotta say, the guy could have just left the car bone stock for one, because the body already looks aesthetic as is. Well, for my taste, I wouldn't really know for his taste. But adding all those, are these wooden or are these cardboard?
I think that's made out of wood, I must say.
Yeah, with the use of wood, that's just more delicate than, metal in itself. I would say that's a really bad choice for aerodynamic, because I can see that the spoiler, the rear bumper, the side skirts, those things at the rear fenders, and the hood scoop are meant for aerodynamics, but technically that's not gonna help out. He's just making his car heavier and unnecessarily fragile.
Well, brace yourselves as well for the termites, not only the rust,
God, yes, the insects, and when they eat it up, the car's probably gonna look naked and afraid. What I mean? So yeah, this is really a big red flag for me. I really am not for it at all.
More red flags than your exes.
Alright, so let's move to the next picture.
Alright then. Now this car that I'm showing to you right now, well, a little fun fact about this, it was actually used in a 2005 T-Mobile commercial. And this was, dubbed as a poster car.
It's not hard to see why, because I see two spoilers for one, that overly sized hood scoop, which seems to be straight out of a drag spec build, I think.
And see that spoiler at the top of the roof? How's that even necessary?
Yeah, you don't even need it for the drag, and you don't need it for the airflow. It's gonna make your car necessarily heavy, unless you want your car to fly in the air like a 747 airplane. And what's with the rims? How do they even help?
It looks like a freaking aluminum wrap.
I know, I could just wrap food inside a thing, like lots of rice. Okay, especially
too much rice indeed.
even the color in itself, I really don't understand why he had to give that material, knowing that if it gets stained, wait, what do you call this material? The wrap that he used for the decals. It looks very fragile and
Vinyl? I don't know, but I think those are vinyls, yeah?
Yeah, they seem very, very delicate, so imagine if it gets dented or scratched. Big no-no. This car has a 0 out of 10 for me. Completely red flag. Except, it's a good car in itself. I'm really a big fan of the 86s.
Of course. Well, we've already featured that in one of our TikTok videos, right?
One of the best Japanese legends and underdogs out there.
Sorry for the helicopter sound, but yeah, let's just let it pass by. that? See that?
Wait, that's a Mitsubishi Mirage and it's got a Toyota badge? Dude, that's like betraying your own namesake. Why?
Well,
Bruh! And okay, the body kit looks decent. I can't really see the whole thing, but it looks pretty decent to me. But I think it's a bit unnecessary knowing that in the first place you're not in a circuit, you're in the road. So why give it that much, aesthetics?
Well,
like the fender's too oversized.
I'm not even a fan of the body kit as well. Well, the wheels could have been, well, better.
It's off. It's just not proportionate with everything else.
For goodness sake, Team Toyota with a Mitsubishi emblem, come on.
It's like saying that you're Team Philippines, but then you're actually part of another country. USA, I'm calling you out. I'm just kidding.
Well, with that,
But
how do you rate it?
I would say I'd probably rate it. I guess my most generous rating would probably be a 6.5 out of 10 because, in fairness, the concept looks good. It has a
Yeah.
good concept. It has a pretty decent design compared to the other cars. But yeah, the mere fact that it disrespects its own home badge being Mitsubishi and the out of proportion, body and the wheels, yeah, that would be the minus points for me.
Well, that's already below minus points for me. So yeah, it's already below naught.
So what would you rate it as, personally?
Well, negative 10.
Negative 10, oh my gosh, I guess I'm more generous than my friend here. Alright, let's move on to the next pick.
So here's another one, Chris.
What in the... Whoa. I'm really confused. Is this really a Camaro or is this Slimer from Ghostbusters?
I can't tell, Chris, but it looks weird, especially the wheels, man. I mean, look at that.
For me, it makes no sense at all how the wheels are that... I mean, I get that it's a culture. I just forgot the exact term. But I do know that they love practicing, putting oversized and, offset wheels. But
It's a subcultural.
performance-wise, that's just gonna weigh your car down. It's just gonna make it an overly sized, unnecessarily sized monster truck with really, really thin wheels instead of, practical and thick wheels. But the body at least is stock.
Yep. The body is stock, although yeah, I think it was repainted. And as for the wheels, in Filipino we'd call it the Kalesa wheels,
Yeah, the Calesso wheels. Yeah, I would just rather tie a freaking rope and put a horse in front of this thing. Forget the 500 plus horses. We got more horses for you.
Yep. More horses, the more horses the better, right?
But again, I hope you don't take us wrong. To each his own. But yeah, I really find this as a really impractical build, especially for the wheels. I mean, it's good if you left everything else stock at least. Maybe the front grille is... Well, I can't really see it at full, but it still looks, decently, like there's nothing that, not really prohibiting the airflow and everything. But yeah, the wheels are a really big downfall for me. So I think I'd give it probably maybe a 5 out of 10 because I really hate how oversized and impractical the wheels are. Especially, what are those? Is that smoke design or light
I'm
design?
not sure. But overall, it looks absolutely weird. So I'd probably get it. I don't know. I'd probably give it a negative 10 again.
Negative 10 again. Well, that's fine. At least I'm more considerate for the owner of this car.
Well, my standards are too high with cars, so yeah.
It's fine. Alright, let's move on to the next one.
So what we have here next is yet another Japanese car, and it is a culture in Japan, a car culture in Japan called Bosozoku, wherein they put oversized fenders, spoilers, exhausts, wheels.
Oh, yes, I'm actually quite a fan of these, but I have to say, I would probably give it a pretty low rating because I find it very impractical. It was especially my biggest red flag is the spoiler at the back. I just really don't understand why it seems to be as big as a small apartment from what I'm seeing here.
Yep, I can already climb on it actually. Be
Same
quite honest with you.
here, yeah, you can probably shoot a basketball right on the basket. And the side fenders, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me, especially if you're in tight traffic. You might actually sideswipe someone unless you want to use that as a weapon in a demolition derby.
Oh,
But the wheels are actually pretty good, and I like the car
not gonna
itself.
lie. You're absolutely right. I love the wheels, the car itself, yeah, but the body kits are just way too off.
Yeah, I'd probably give it maybe a 4 out of 10 since I'm really a practicality based guy.
I'd rate it probably a 1 out of 10.
Yikes, 1 out of 10. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Well, you can't please me with those, alright?
It's fine.
And what we have here is a Ford Mustang with that, what do you call this thing?
Horns from probably a buffalo or a carabao or something.
Yup. And there's Supercar Blondie right here.
Oh, yes, I'm well aware of her, and I actually like her channel. But
Yep.
here's the thing: I actually like the off-road build. I'm all for off-road builds.
I
But
agree.
my problem is I'm a little confused if it really is purely off-road or if it's a mix of drag as well, because I just don't understand the paint. Like, how could you go off-road with paint like that? It's gonna look like strawberry and chocolate scrambled ice cream.
Well-
Getting dirty with that freaking vinyl like paint.
Yep. Not the paint for me though, and yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of the color combination to begin with.
Same, and I'm not really for the horns as well because for me safety is really important. So what if
Right.
that thing ends up crashing on the
And the front bumper.
Yeah, the front bumper is pretty much for me. I mean, I understand that they at times do that for protection for the front bumper, but it's really unnecessary for
Yeah,
me.
you're absolutely right.
And I'm not mistaken, I can see a front neon, like a mini neon in front. I don't understand what it's for. It's supposed to be a rally build or a off-road build. So I think I'll give this probably a 5 out of 10 because it's a good build, good concept, but
Excuse me.
quite a number of unnecessary stuff.
You're right. I'd probably give it a 3. Well, that's probably my highest number because, as I said, my standards are quite high.
It's okay.
Cars.
This is being generous this time, but yeah, it's fine. All right, let's move on to the next one.
All right then. So the next car that we have here, or rather a van, is yet another Bosozoku build.
I can't really begin with how complex it looks. Honestly, sorry, but yeah, I must say that it looks like what would happen if Squidward merged with his own house. I mean, the body isn't necessarily complex. I can't begin to explain, and it's unnecessarily low in itself. So it's almost like it wants to kiss the ground.
Well, for me, it looks like Pikachu, especially if it were to be yellow.
Yeah, it's just the green that gives me the Squidward vibes.
And look at the wheels, man. Well, although the wheels are actually pretty nice, to be honest.
Yeah, the wheels are actually great. The badges, sure. I mean, for me, it's fine. And the plate, I like the plate. The lights, sure. But the color and the body kit, really not for me. I'd
Yeah,
probably give
definitely
it
not.
2 out of 10, especially because of the ride heights.
Well, -2 for me though.
Yeah, because it's just not. It doesn't spell any sort of practicality for me. So anyway, what's the next card?
Right.
Yeah.
So here's another Bosozoku, although it's not a Japanese car. It is an Italian supercar.
Yes, the Lamborghini Diablo. It's actually one of my favorites. I'd say
Very iconic indeed.
this actually looks pretty decent. I guess I just have 2 main pet peeves, which is the headlights.
Yes, you're right.
Exaggeratedly mad.
And it looks like not a Murcielago, but probably a headlight from, let's say, a Huracan.
Yeah, Huracan looks quite modernized and exaggerated. And also the neon inside. I have a
Yes.
feeling that if I were to have a migraine or something, I would probably pass out from the
Oh, Lord.
green neon.
I'd be dead.
It looks like you're in an aquarium of some sort and you're like a fish trying to slip out.
I guess this is probably one of the most decent risers that we are currently reviewing right now. Yeah.
Not to mention the motorcycle at the background actually looks pretty decent.
Yep. I have to agree with you.
It's fancy. I actually like the pattern.
The neon lights as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I give these two probably a good 5 out of 10, simply because it is quite neatly built for a ricer.
Same. I think this is where our ends would really meet. I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10 because, well, the biggest minus points are the headlights and the neon inside, but everything else looks pretty decent to me.
You're right.
Yeah. So what else do we have?
So what we have here is yet another supercar with a more obnoxious build.
Honestly, instead of SLR McLaren, I'm seeing SLR McDonald's with the whole red and yellow.
Exactly.
I mean,
SLR McDonald's.
okay, for one, it's fine to put a body kit in the car, but if it has its uses, but from what I'm seeing here, it has stock wheels that look disproportionate and at the same time looks a little too lowered, so I don't really understand that concept, and at the same time, I don't get why he gave those codes of paint on the exterior and the interior if it looks too chromy for me. It looks like a Happy Meal rounded up on a freaking Big Mac. No offense.
Well, that's what do you call this? This is what happens when poor taste and money collides, you know?
But again, disclaimer, guys, it's not that we're saying that, these builds are particularly bad or the worst in society. It's just, well, our biggest opinion as, having our taste as car enthusiasts. So,
well, it is still his or her, preferences.
Yes, you're open to that.
But yeah, it doesn't pass my standards yet again.
Okay,
so I'd rate it probably a sad -3 out of 10.
As for me, I'd probably give it, since SLR McLarens have a special place in my heart personally, and since it's one of the rarest in the world and he didn't put much practicality and care into it, as it seems, I'd probably give it a 2 out of 10 at most, at my most generous.
What a waste of car, in my opinion. Oops. So yeah, we're probably gonna end it with another supercar. Well, not really technically a supercar, neither it is a hypercar, but it was dressed like one.
This is not a legitimate Bugatti.
Yes, it is not.
It looks off for some reason. I just can't quite figure out why.
And I believe this was based off a 90s Honda Civic,
That
just looks ridiculous.
Good. That was a Honda. Okay, so first of all, that's like the biggest red flag there that I have, because it was a Japanese classic, and then you're trying to make a European modern day, monster, but you can't seem to do that. And the thing is, it looks off because it looks awfully small for a Bugatti.
It's too small.
The build would have been okay if it was a legitimate Bugatti, I think. Yeah. Well, I guess for me at least, but yeah, since it looks way off, and since, looking at it again, I think the wheels are a bit too, how would I say, Asian or Japanese looking.
It looks too JDM to me.
Too JDM, yeah. And I think because of the lack of originality, and because it's on the Civic trying to be Bugatti, I'd definitely give this 1 out of 10.
Well, me, I'd give it a harsh -11.
Oh, that's the harshest rating that he's ever given today, but that's fine.
Yeah.
And there you have it, everyone. Here is our very, very honest review on these riced cars.
Yeah. Well, you know what? My eyes are actually swelling right now.
Same. I feel like I just had an experience with really, really bad onions a while ago. And I was trying to be as generous as I can, but even my partner over here couldn't be any more generous because, I don't know. I mean, again, to each his own, but for us as our own type of car enthusiasts, I really, really think that this can be our most honest ratings thus far.
I had to be bluntly honest. Yeah.
Same. I mean, no offense to the owners of these cars, but I think, in our opinions, practicality and function are really, really two of the most essential things, which is
precisely
why we gave these ratings.
Yep. So yeah, that concludes our riser car ratings. So yeah,
So we shall catch you later in the next episodes as we shall drive you nuts and bolts with a bumper to bumper podcasts.
yes sir.
Now, if you're new to this channel, please do subscribe to our channel and also press the notification bell for more updates.